Raise your hand if you checked your phone within the last 10 minutes. Raise your hand if you don't know the answer to that question. It's okay. My hand's up too. Our smartphones have become so integrated into our lives that we don't even realize it. And I'm frustrated because our smartphones, whether we realize it or not, are hijacking our focus, our productivity, and our clarity. But there are ways that we can fix this. We can fix this through phone-free intentional time blocks, through change of our environment, and through science-based refocusing and retraining of our brain. Now, like every good speech, this starts off with a story. It was Thanksgiving this year, so just a couple days ago. We had a Friendsgiving, my friends and I, notably Jack, Ben, and Connor. Connor was hosting the Friendsgiving at his dingy Liberty Avenue apartment. The kind of place that when you walk up the stairs, they creak to let you know where you're going. You gotta jingle the doorknob a couple extra times just to get it to open. And when the door finally does open, you hit with that smell of old leather furniture and termites eating the floorboards. The night was going very smoothly. We were cooking the dinner, making the sides, setting the table, and catching up because we hadn't seen each other in a very long time. Things were going very great, that is, until it was time for the dinner itself. Aside from the fact that the turkey was basically still running around because of how undercooked it was, or the fact that the biscuits were basically hockey pucks because of how hard they were, it was just the atmosphere of being there that made it a great place to be. That was until one by one, we all started pulling our smartphones out. Ben was the first. We were in the middle of a conversation and he slowly reached into his pocket, did a double take to make sure nobody was looking, and started stalking his ex on Instagram to make sure she hadn't moved on to anybody better. She had. Jack was the second, slowly reaching into his pocket, doing that same double take and browsing Facebook Marketplace to look at guitars that he can't afford and will never buy. Connor got sucked into a TikTok rabbit hole so deep I still don't know if he's out. And that's not even the heart of the issue. Annoying as it was, the reason why I'm up here giving this speech is because after we finished the meal, we looked around for the dessert, and it was nowhere to be found. That is because we got so distracted in our smartphones that we forgot to take it out. We had a dessertless Thanksgiving, and that is something that I never want to experience again, and I never want any of you to experience. First way of taking control is to set intentional time blocks, phone-free time blocks. For me, this all started a couple of years ago when I started to realize that this addiction was becoming part of my life. I started to use a feature called Do Not Disturb. On my phone, at least, Do Not Disturb has a feature where it clears all of the notifications from your lock screen. You don't see them unless you go looking for them. Very helpful at first to keep me on task, but slowly and slowly as it started to seep back into my mind that this is an addiction, not just a habit, I started to go looking for the notifications. And that was a double jeopardy, because not only did I get the dopamine rush of checking notifications, I got the dopamine rush of having to put in work to get them, so it felt like a reward. I was trapped in a rabbit hole deeper than I could have imagined. So instead of just putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, I started putting my phone as far away from me in the corner as possible. Do Not Disturb still, but face down, so I can't even check to see if anything is going on. This habit has helped me dramatically. And I only do it for 45 to 90 minutes at a time. And those are the most productive 45 minutes of my day. I'm not saying you have to be a monk when you do this. Just take 20 minutes and work your way up. A study from UC Berkeley shows that it takes on average 23 minutes for us to get re-enveloped into a task after we are distracted from it. That could mean anything from a ping of your phone to your coworker coming up to talk to you about next month's reports. 23 minutes to get right back to where you were if you hadn't been distracted. It's a lot of time to waste, and a lot of time that we'll never get back. But yet again, I found myself slowly creeping back into it. I'd set my phone closer and closer to me instead of the furthest corner of the room. Maybe I don't have to turn it off this time, maybe it can just stay on, just face down. Maybe it doesn't have to be face down anymore, I can manage it. Slower and slower, it started to end up right back on my desk, right on the charger, and I was right back where I started. So I started wondering, maybe it's not the phone itself, maybe it's my environment. All around me I have distractions preventing me from getting my work done. Yes, the phone, obviously, but also the chargers on which it sits on. The multiple tabs I have open on my workstation every day. Even the non-technology related things like my guitars or my notepads. These are all things that want to take me out of the work that I should be doing. So instead of just isolating the phone, I put it on a broader scale. I took all of the chargers out of my workspace. I put all of my guitars nice and tidy in the other corner so that they're not right in arm's reach. Through doing this, I've been able to dramatically cut down the amount of times that I've been pulled into something else. A Cornell study condemned that your environment influences your behavior more than your motivation. You could be the most motivated person in the world, but if you have other things going on around you outside of your control, it's kind of hard to focus on it. That's why you don't see a lot of people reading right next to a construction site or in a busy subway station. It's hard to really get focused on something that isn't taking up all of your time. We don't rise to our goals. We fall to our environment. Ultimately, common theme here, that one also didn't work out too well for me. I still find myself reaching for my guitars from time to time, even though they're farther away. Get up and make the trip, because in my mind that's worth it. So I realized the problem wasn't always my phone, and it wasn't always my environment. Maybe the problem was me. Maybe I had just gotten so caught up in all of this that it's become part of who I am. So I've started to brute force my brain out of it. Neuroscientists call this attention adaptation. Your brain does what you repeatedly do, not what you want it to do. So, instead of scrolling on my phone for 3 hours at a time, I started scheduling 20 minutes a day to grab a book and read a chapter. Or monotasking, where I'd only have 1 or 2 necessary tabs open on my workstation instead of YouTube over here and Spotify over here. I've also tried meditation and mindful breathing. Just taking 20 seconds. Breathe in, count to 10, breathe out, count to 10. If it ever all gets too much, that'll really trick your brain into coming back into it. In conclusion, distraction addiction is stealing our productivity, our presence, and our peace of mind. But with intentional focus breaks, brute forcing our brain, and better environments, we can take it back. Next time you put your phone away, put it away with purpose. Share your environment. Don't let your environment share you. Train your brain like you train any other muscle in your body. Because if your phone is the first thing you pick up in the morning and the last thing you put away at night, you're not living your life for you. You're living your life for notifications. But you can choose whether to stay dull or become sharp. Your attention becomes your habits, and your habits become your life, and you only get one of them. Thank you.